Welcome back to the Mysteries of Hyrule, our little Zelda theory show. Today, Smartdevon and I are going to talk about the Happy Mask Salesman, who isn't super happy. He's evil.
Yes, we've collected multiple theories on the Happy Mask Salesman that we are going to talk about today.
Alright, so why don't you take the first one here, Devin?
Alright, so the first theory I found is that the Happy Mask Salesman and Majora are the same person. The evidence behind this theory is that he knows about Majora's Mask, he has Majora's Mask, and the theory goes that Majora, some random time, was split into two pieces, the good side and the bad side. The Happy Mask Salesman would be the good side, and the mask would be the bad side. This would be why the Happy Mask Salesman says that terrible things will happen if you let my mask out there, and that's why he says my mask. The Happy Mask Salesman's purpose is supposedly to keep Majora in check. However, there are some holes in this theory, one of them being that the Happy Mask Salesman is not really all that good.
Yeah, he has the Song of Healing, but in order to get the mask from the person in that song, you kill them. And he's got quite a bit of head.
That is true.
Including the hero of pipes, Mario.
Yes, he killed Mario. Canon. So what are your opinions on this theory?
Well, personally, I don't really give too much credit to this theory. He doesn't really do anything good, and he is the Happy Mask Salesman. Why wouldn't he know about the all-evil mask? And he knows this mask is evil, so why wouldn't he say terrible things will happen if it gets out there? Because they've already began.
That is true. Alright. Would you like to take the next one?
Yep. The next one involves a character in Skyward Sword named Reuben. He sells you shields and crap. And so, there's a theory that the Happy Mask Salesman could be a descendant from them because they have a similar posture, smile, haircut, and they both sell stuff. And I'm gonna put up some footage here of Reuben's bipolarness. There we go. He's kind of bipolar, and the Happy Mask Salesman kind of shows a little bit of the same temperament. And so, I could see this coming out. My personal opinion here is I think that this has some legitimacy to it.
Yeah, there's nothing really in the series that would, I don't know, disprove this theory. I mean, they're both kind of jerks, and you see Reuben getting pretty grumpy at nighttime because, you know, he's selling stuff all night. When does that guy sleep, by the way?
I don't think he sleeps. His eyes are always half open, so maybe
they're both creepy.
Yeah. Yeah, that might be part of the creepiness, is they don't sleep.
Yeah. And for all we know, that Reuben could just be immortal and the same person as the Happy Mask Salesman. We don't really get too in-depth on Reuben as a character because, well, he's not all that interesting a character in Skyward Sword.
Yeah. So why don't you take the next theory here?
Alright. One theory is that he is not Majora, but a deity. The evidence behind this theory is that all the deities have songs associated with them. When I'm referring to deities, I'm referring to the four giants. So, for example, one of the giants we meet after we save Woodfall, and you are teleported to meet the giant at the end of Woodfall Temple. The song that people say is associated with this deity would be, it's a Sonata of Awakening. Yeah, so the Sonata of Awakening is used to access the first dungeon, and then would be correlated with that first deity. The second dungeon, which is Snowhead, the song correlated with it is the Goron's Lullaby. You use that song to access the second dungeon, so that would be correlated with the second deity. The third dungeon is Great Bay Temple. The song you learn from Lulu, I can't remember what it's called, but you use that one to access the third dungeon, and that would be correlated with the third deity, and through a different mechanic, we could argue that the Elegy of Emptiness is correlated with the fourth deity because it is all used to access the temple, but using a very different mechanic. So the song that would be correlated with the Happy Mask Salesman, sorry I'm getting tongue-tied, Happy Mask Salesman would be the Song of Healing, because he teaches you this song, and when you hear the Song of Healing, you think of the Happy Mask Salesman. Some of the other evidence that's correlated with this theory is that he knows the Song of Healing and it's such a powerful song, and that he doesn't seem to be affected by time travel, because when you fight Skull Kid, you shoot him with a bubble. It's not really a fight, I would say, but you travel back in time, you go to the Happy Mask Salesman, and he says, "Hey, have you gotten my mask yet?" He kind of asks he kind of acts like Link has been gone for a long time, but for him, since Link's a set back time, it should be like he walked out the door 2 seconds ago. Some other evidence is that the only places in Majora's Mask that you're not on a time limit are in the moon, when the moon has already been stopped, and in the clock tower with the Happy Mask Salesman. He actually stops time. So the power that Happy Mask Salesman to stop time, I don't know if that's actually a canonical thing, that he stops time. That would be more of a gray area. But if he could stop time, that would definitely give him some power. He also seems to have the ability to vanish out of thin air that we see at the beginning, or at the end of the game. And at the beginning, he seems to appear out of thin air. He also resets time when you forget. He says, you've met with a terrible fate, haven't you? And then time resets. And he looks like the Moon Children, who appear to be avatars of the 4 deities.
The Moon Children also ask you if Link's gonna become a mask salesman when you're in the moon.
I don't know if all the deities are just mask salesmen in different worlds. That would be kind of funny.
And creepy.
Oh yeah. When I think about this theory, I think it could be possible, but then I think, well, if the Happy Mask Salesman is a deity, what stops him from getting Majora's Mask all by himself?
Yeah, and he kind of just sticks in one place. He doesn't really do anything else aside from go to a different place. Like,
yes.
Whenever you encounter him, he's always in one specific place. Like, I'm willing to bet if when he goes to another world, like Mario's world, he's in the same he hangs out in the same place in a similar fashion, waiting for people to come to him instead of the other way around.
Are you saying that we're going to see a Mario and Happy Mask Salesman crossover in the near future?
Maybe. He might put on the Mario mask and get Princess Peach next.
Oh, he's gonna take out Mario. I see. But something interesting about him staying in the same place is that at the beginning of the game, he says, I'm a very busy man and I must leave this place in 3 days. But the whole game, he just stands there and he doesn't do anything. Some other interesting things is that he somehow knows that Link has courage, even though he's never met the guy. Well, I guess he has met him in Ocarina of Time, but he didn't really see him display courage.
Yeah, but I doubt he could find out too much about Link by him walking in Ocarina of Time.
Yeah, I mean, he sells his mask, and that's really all he does for the Happy Mask Salesman. The Happy Mask Salesman isn't as in-depth in Ocarina of Time. But some other stuff is that he knows that Link, as a Deku Scrub, isn't his true form. He says, I know how to return you to your true form, but really he should have no idea that Link isn't a Deku Scrub. He knows that Link has courage. And some people use these points to emphasize the theory that he is a deity. Alright, the theory that the Happy Mask Salesman is a ghost states that in one of the cutscenes, we see that when Skull Kid steals the Majora's Mask from the Happy Mask Salesman is lying on the ground, not moving. The theory starts is that the Skull Kid actually murdered the Happy Mask Salesman right there, and he's lying down dead. The theory derives from Link's contact with the Composer Brothers, actually. The Composer Brothers Sharp could not be healed by the Song of Healing. If you play the Song of Healing, he acknowledges that you played it, but says that such a song does not affect him anymore. In order to heal Sharp's soul, you need to play the Song of Storms, taught to you by Flat, Sharp's brother. It's interesting that Sharp can't be healed by the Song of Healing, suggesting that the Song of Healing is not powerful enough to heal his soul. Sharp really needs to finish something. He needs to make peace with his brother before he moves on. So the theory is that the Happy Mask Salesman needs his mask. He can't go on without his mask into the afterlife. And this theory is supported by the fact that he vanishes at the end of the game, so he supposedly moves on to the afterlife right then, and then he summons this organ out of nowhere. He changes positions without moving. He does all this creepy stuff that you don't see him do this stuff in Ocarina of Time when he would be presumably alive. So my opinion on this theory, I actually really like this theory. It is actually inspired by the theory that Link is dead, but I like it better because the Happy Mask Salesman actually also demonstrates the 5 stages of grief much more prominently than the whole game does. You see, once you tell the Happy Mask Salesman that you don't have his mask, he denies this. He says, you did get my mask, didn't you? No, you didn't get his mask. So then he gets really angry. He starts shaking you by your neck, which is child abuse, by the way. Child abuse doesn't solve anything, Happy Mask Salesman.
Yeah.
He gets really depressed and starts crying, saying terrible things will happen if you don't get my mask. Then he starts begging you to get his mask, say, please, please, get me my mask. And then when you agree, he says, really, you'll do it? Which represents the 5 stages of grief far more greatly than the entire game does. I really like this theory for that reason.
Yeah. I personally have a hard time accepting theories that do this ghost thing, but this one seems to be the most valid out of any game that I've ever seen. It seems to be more valid than the deity one because it would explain why he's kind of anchored. However, I don't think he moves on to the afterlife just by his personality and the way he works. I think that he just needs the mask move around and move on and continue what he does.
So maybe move on from this one place. So he's not done haunting Termina or Hyrule or the planet. He's just done in Clocktown for the time being.
Right. I think he moves around and he still like kills people as a ghost. Like Mario sneaks up on Mario like Boo. Mario's looking at Boo, trying to keep Boo from scaring him, and then the Happy Mask Salesman comes from behind in a pipe, and he plays the Song of Healing, thus ending Mario.
I want to see a fan animation or some fan art or something on that.
How the Happy Mask Salesman got the Mario mask.
Yes. I'm gonna look that up later.
The biggest thing that goes against this theory, though, is the fact that the Happy Mask Salesman can touch Link, which would mean he's not really a ghost at all. If you can physically touch someone, that usually doesn't mean you're a ghost unless you're doing some special mojo. But on the other hand, there are the Poes in The Legend of Zelda who are also spirit-like, but they can also touch and affect humans, so it can really go either ways at that point, depending on your perspective of the afterlife in The Legend of Zelda.
Alright, one final theory we have is that he is from the tribe of Icana. This theory relies on another theory that the tribe of Icana is the tribe that made Majora's Mask, and that theory has some credibility to it, but for the sake of time, I won't go into it right now. The evidence behind this theory is that he has Majora's Mask on him, and that he knows all about the mask, he knows about the tribe, and what the tribe used it for. He says the tribe used this mask for hexing rituals. He also says that the tribe since vanished, but nobody knows his power. However, he does know the mask's power, suggesting that he's part of the tribe. He's a traveler, so maybe he wasn't around when the tribe vanished. But as for evidence on this theory, it kind of stops there, which this theory doesn't have anything to go against it, really, but there's nothing to really go for it. It would imply that he is somehow immortal, because he's lived this long, and the tribe has supposedly vanished a long time ago, so there would have to be more suggesting more about the Happy Mask Salesman than just he's from the tribe.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that point. There's not enough to support it for me to really accept it, to subscribe to the theory, as MCGamer would say.
Well, that's basically all the theories we have on this one. The Happy Mask Salesman is one of my favorite characters in the Zelda series. He is very quotable too. One of my favorite lines in the game is at the very end when he tells you, whenever there is a meeting, there is a parting, but that parting need not last forever, whether it be forever or a short time, that is up to you. One of those lines is one of those reasons that the Happy Mask Salesman seems like such an important character to me personally.
So that's all of our theory, the theory we have today, so we'd like to thank you guys for watching, and we will see you guys in our next episode. Hopefully we'll talk about something brighter. We got 2 dark things in a row here.
Yeah, the Dark Link and then the Happy Mask Salesman. Can we talk about, I don't know, the Picori next time? They seem to be a happy-go-lucky tribe. They eat happiness.
They eat happiness?
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I forgot to show you my fan art of a Picori eating a gratitude crystal.
Alright, we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.